Welcome back to Great Guitarist of the Rock Era. Today we're diving deep into the life and music of a guitarist whose influence on blues rock and the British blues scene can't be overstated. He was the founder of Fleetwood Mac. Today we'll talk about the brilliant, yet often overlooked, Peter Green. But before we get started, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell for more stories. Peter Green's story is one of incredible talent, of highs and lows, and of an otherworldly connection to the blues, known for his emotional restraint and haunting tone. He had a special gift for making the guitar sing, whether it was through a clean, crisp phrasing or his raw blues bends. Green's guitar work had a voice all its own, a voice that could take you from pure bliss to aching sorrow in a single note. Born Peter Allen Greenbaum on October 29, 1946, in Bernthal Green, London. Green started playing guitar at age 10. His brother Michael taught him his first chords, and then Green started teaching himself. He began playing professionally by the age of 15. He first played bass guitar in a band called Bobby Dennis and the Dominoes. He went on to play with the Muskrats, and then a band called the Tridents, in which he also played bass. By Christmas 1965, Green was playing lead guitar in Peter B's Lunars, where he first met drummer Mick Fleetwood. It was with that band that he made his recording debut with the single, If You Want to Be Happy. In 1966, Green and some other members of Peter B's Lunars formed Shotgun Express, a Motown-style band which also included Rod Stewart. But Green left the group after a few months. In October of '65, before joining Barden's group, Green had the opportunity to fill in for Eric Clapton with John Mayall and the Blues Breakers for 4 gigs. When Clapton left the Blues Breakers, Green became a full-time member of Mayall's band in July of '66. Green made his recording debut with the Blues Breakers on the album A Hard Road in 1967, which featured 2 of his own compositions, The Same Way and The Supernatural. In 1967, Green left the Blues Breakers to form a band of his own, Fleetwood Mac, alongside drummer Mick Fleetwood, bassist John McVie, and guitarist Jeremy Spencer. Fleetwood Mac's self-titled debut album, released in 1968, was a pure blues record with standout tracks like Shake Your Money Maker and Long Gray Mare. But the real gem, I Loved Another Woman. It's Peter at his best, pouring emotion into every note. Later that same year, Fleetwood Mac dropped their second album, Mr. Wonderful. Here the band refined their blues sound with a touch more grit. Tracks like Stop Messin' Round and Love That Burns reveal Green's growing mastery as a songwriter, showcasing his ability to channel raw emotion into his guitar solos. In 1969, Fleetwood Mac's third album, Then Play On, showed Green's evolution beyond blues. It's a mix of blues, rock, and even some psychedelic touches. The standout tracks, Rattlesnake Shake, and the tracks Oh Well, Part 1, which is a rock-driven blues riff with intense energy, while Part 2 is a haunting instrumental that gives us a glimpse into Peter's mind, and were added to the 2013 remaster of the album. In the same year, they scored a hit with the non-album track, Black Magic Woman, followed by the guitar instrumental, Albatross, and The Man of the World, both in 1969. The double album, Blues Jam in Chicago, in 1969, was recorded at Chess Records in Chicago. Key tracks, Watch Out, and Red Hot Jam. Another track, The Ominous, The Green Manalishi, was released in 1970. Green left Fleetwood Mac in 1970 amid struggles with mental health exacerbated by his experiences with LSD. In that same year, he recorded a jam session with drummer Godfrey McLean, keyboardist Zoot Money, and Nick Buck, along with bassist Alex Zomchowski. Reprise Records released the session as The End of the Game, Green's first post-Fleetwood Mac solo album, It's entirely instrumental, experimental, almost avant-garde album. While it wasn't commercially successful, it captured the depths of Green's mind and musicality. Tracks like Bottoms Up and Hidden Depth are raw, experimental, and unpredictable. Also, soon after leaving Fleetwood Mac, Green accompanied former bandmate keyboardist Peter Bardens on his solo album, The Answer, playing lead guitar on several tracks in 1970. He recorded 2 tracks for the album Juju with Bobby Tench's band Gas on the tracks Juju and Black Velvet, also in 1970. In 1971, he had a brief reunion with Fleetwood Mac, helping them to complete a U.S. tour after Jeremy Spencer left the group. He played guitar on B.B. King in London in 1971 on the track Caledonia, and an uncredited appearance on Fleetwood Mac's Penguin LP in 1973 on the song Night Watch. Peter went through a rough period, spending much of the rest of the 70s out of the music scene. But in 1979, he made a quiet comeback with In the Skies, a record that returned to his blues roots with a softer edge. Tracks like A Fool No More and In the Skies showed Peter still had the magic touch. He also played on the Fleetwood Mac track Brown Eyes from their 1979 album Tusk. In 1980, Green released Little Dreamer, a gentle album that leaned more into soulful blues, with tracks like Loser 2 Times and Born Under a Bad Sign. It's clear Peter still had the raw bluesy power. On 1981's What You Gonna Do, he continued in this direction with a slightly rockier edge. Key tracks, Promised Land and Bullet in the Sky. Also in 1981, Green contributed to Rattlesnake Shake and Super Brains on Mick Fleetwood's solo album, The Visitor. Green continued to release music through the 80s with albums like White Sky in 1982 and Colors in 1983. The Case for the Blues with the band Kathmandu and A Touch of Sunburn with the band The Enemy Within, both released in 1985. He would disappear again for a dozen years until he came back with the Peter Green Splinter Group. Albums like Peter Green Splinter Group in 1997, The Robert Johnson Songbook in 1998, Destiny Road in 1999, Hot Foot Powder in 2000, Time Traders in 2001, Blues Don't Change, also in 2001, and Reaching the Cold 100 in 2003. Green was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1998 with Fleetwood Mac. In 2015, Rolling Stone ranked him at number 58 in its list of the 100 greatest guitarists of all time. He began playing a Gibson Les Paul with Peter B. Lunars, a guitar which he often referred to as his magic guitar. It's now known as Greenie. Though he played other guitars, he is best known for deriving a unique tone from the 1959 Les Paul. Green later sold that guitar to Gary Moore, and in 2014, Kirk Hammett of Metallica bought the guitar from Moore's estate. Peter Green's influence reaches far beyond his time with Fleetwood Mac. Many rock guitarists have cited Green as an influence, including Gary Moore, Joe Perry, and Mark Knopfler. Green's songs have been recorded by artists such as Santana, Aerosmith, the Black Crowes, Judas Priest, and Gary Moore. His style was marked by a quiet intensity, a soulful restraint that made every note count. And while he wasn't flashy, his playing was powerful because it was honest. Though he passed away in 2020, Peter Green's legacy lives on, not only in Fleetwood Mac's music, but in every guitarist who seeks to tell their story through the instrument. So if you've ever felt a chill run down your spine listening to a simple, haunting guitar riff, you've felt Peter Green's magic. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on which of Peter Green's albums or songs is your favorite. Until next time, keep rocking.